biggest reasons those who stand against national interest hate republic is because we call out their conspiracies while they are in motion and before they are implemented, and therefore we become a roadblock for them. Now, an ongoing conspiracy of this group is that they are working overtime in a calibrated way with sections of people in the media, some of the Lutyens losers, some people who claim to be academics, some overrated lawyers, and some out-of-work professors. They've all come together to try and pose a challenge to tough anti-terror laws in India. It becomes, therefore, our duty to stop this, because national security is non-negotiable. And there is this group which is working overtime to needle a dilution of the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, or UAPA, which is India's strongest legislation against terror. Therefore, I thought that the Republic Media Network needs to revisit the evidence brought on record in the Delhi riots case, which is being used as a precedent by this group to try and say that UAPA itself must be brought under constitutional or legal challenge. It's completely absurd to say so. Let's go back and therefore revisit the evidence on the Delhi riots. Let's go back to the evidence. Let's remind ourselves about the scale of conspiracy. Let's debate this once and for all openly on Republic. It's a matter of insanity, I say, that there are elements in this country who think that we need a weaker and not stronger anti-terrorism law. So watch the evidence being reported tonight by Ridham Anand Bhardwaj, and then we debate.
24th February 2020, the Delhi riots. Flabbergasting and unforgettable visuals of rioters attacking the police at the Chandbagh site in New Delhi beamed across the world. 53 lives lost, 51 injuries. An IB official who was murdered and dumped in a drain. More than 200 injured. 1,200 in relief camps. 122 houses. 322 shops. 301 vehicles gutted. Damages worth over 1,000 crore rupees in the national capital. What these visuals don't tell you is the mind-numbing scale of orchestration, the expanse of engineering and the depth of conspiracy. All now documented as part of the evidence in the charge sheet. The garb of peaceful protest was used to engineer a riot step by step. All that was documented as part of the charge sheet. 2 months and 16 days before the manic violence played out on the streets of Delhi, Yogendra Yadav allegedly organized a planning and plotting meeting, attended by the usual suspects: Umar Khalid of the Tukde Tukde fame, Sharjeel Imam, Khalid Saifi, Miran Haidar, among others.
This meeting was the start of the carnage to follow. It included all the top conspirators. All the key decisions were taken at such meetings. Foreign funding, collection of funds, rooting in institutions like Jamia and JNU, and even, shockingly, the execution through Chakka Jam, which is the blocking of essential services. Shockingly, Sharjeel Imam and Umar Khalid were the ones who directly suggested police has to be targeted. The plan was not just to attack Delhi, the plan was a pan-India stir rooted in communal cauldron.
7 days after this meeting, the process to identify 25 sites had begun. These were no sites of protest. These were sites identified to execute a violent riot.
On the intervening night of 16th and 17th February 2020, the Carnage Delhi plan was laid. The Delhi police charge sheet says the riot leaders of Jafrabad, Mustafabad, Kardumpuri and Chandbagh huddled together under the guidance of top conspirators. They decided the blueprint as former US President Donald Trump was to arrive in the capital. The plan was simple. The international media was watching. They wanted to bring Delhi to a halt. Once the conspiracy was masterminded, it is the WhatsApp groups that were activated to put the plan into action. Hundreds of WhatsApp chats have been put by the Delhi police in the charge sheet. The revelations are scathing. They reveal very clearly that as the late night plot was plotted, instructions were being given minute to minute on the WhatsApp groups.
Look at these chats conspiring to execute the Chakka Jam plan to block the national capital, essentially cutting off essential supplies. Now look at this evidence from the chart sheet. How those who were hailed as heroes by the Lutyens lobby were the alleged executors-in-chief of the massive Chakka Jam plot. This was just 2 days before the Chandbagh riot. Frame by frame, these 27 CCTV cameras catch the orchestration gully by gully, street by street. Crowds didn't just gather. They were clinically mobilized on the day the first shots were fired. Like coordinated clockwork, one gully after the next, the mobs in swelling numbers marched to emerge onto the roads. Some with lathis, others with a vicious purpose.
Evidence after evidence after evidence unmasks the scale of conspiracy in the worst riots Delhi has seen in the past 3 decades. This was no ordinary protest. This was Chakka Jam terrorism. They wanted to burn our national capital and they wanted the world to see. But now the masks of the urban plotters is off. Now their violent execution plan is known. Republic asks, should India ever dilute its anti-terror law? Should these elements not be treated as terrorists? Can India ever let its guard down? Let's debate.